Okay.
We are on.
We're ready.
Okay, all set? Call the November 9th, 2021 Murrysville Planning Commission meeting to order. Will we please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the only item on the agenda tonight is a public hearing for a rezoning of several properties on Old William Penn. This would be the Calvary Lutheran Church, which was the former PNC Bank building, the former Choice Auto Sales, Loyacona Dental, and the Standard Bank building. Seeing this is a public hearing, we have a stenographer here, so anyone wishing to speak, please use the microphone so that she can hear, and make sure that you give us your name and address. Mr. Hogenroder, since this is your request, could you brief the Planning Commission on what this is about?
Well, as you said, it's a request for rezoning from 3 applicants, and Dr. Leancona, who's not opposed and wants to move forward with it also. These are 6 parcels which have 4 businesses on it. All of the businesses that we're talking about are in the mixed-use commercial zone. The balance of the block is all B. What we're trying to do is make them all one. 3 of the businesses will be leaving, ceasing the uses that are presently there are prohibited under the mixed use. 3 of the businesses will change. The auto store is already vacant. Calvary Church has already purchased the PNC, and Standard Bank will cease to exist and move over to a dollar. They've been bought by Dollar Bank, so they're going to move to the Dollar Bank branch across the street. Once they ceased operation, they had 1 year to continue that operation. Otherwise, they lose the right to operate in the same fashion in the mixed-use zone. So the request is being made to keep the whole block consistent and make it into a B zone. Choice Auto is being sold. Choice Auto is being sold to a car wash outfit. Calvary Lutheran Church wants to change the use from a financial institution to a meeting place, perhaps a daycare center. Standard Bank is not going to be a financial institution. Obviously, Dollar's not going to sell it to another bank, and they're not sure what that use is. Right. So before you is the application for 6 properties to change to a B to be consistent with the whole block. That would make that whole block B, all the way down from the drugstore through the old PNC Bank.
And so none of these, well, a couple of the uses that are there now would be non-conforming.
Financial institution is prohibited, therefore it's a non-conforming use. So you had 2 banks, both of those were non-conforming use. Car dealership is prohibited under the mixed use, so they were a non-conforming use. Dr. Leancona's property is, I think, conditional use under the mixed use. He wants to, but he'd like it to be B also.
Okay.
It would be silly to have one mixed use amongst all the Bs. Now we have half and half, so consistency would make sense.
Okay, now, looking through our packet, our agenda packet, I did not see an application from the Dr. Leancona.
Correct. And we talked about that and thought it, since you were looking at all of them, he didn't have to file an application. We just called him and made sure that he was okay with changing to a B. He would have filed an application, but Jim thought he didn't have to do that.
You consider the whole block. If you're going to consider the rezoning, you would leave that as a spot zone there, so it didn't really matter.
It'd be nice if we had something in writing from him, and if it was an email.
His attorney advised that he...
I talked to Dr. Leancona. talked to him about doing an application, he was willing to do that. And after talking to Jim, sort of didn't make sense, so. But he's happy to.
You're assuring us that he's on board with this?
He's on board with this.
Okay.
I can't get my thing to open up. I had a question. My computer's not working, so I'm going to look at Bob's. The Choice Auto, in the deed, it's owned by a Retker and another name,
Civic, yeah.
Civic.
but this application's by Paul Savine. How can someone that doesn't own the property
He has
apply
it.
for a zoning change?
He has it under a sales agreement, so he has a beneficial interest in it. Therefore, it gives him the standing to apply for a zoning change.
Not questioning your legal standing.
Yeah, but, you
Charlie,
know-
but doesn't the property owner have to make the request for rezoning?
Anyone who has an interest in the property has a right to request for zoning.
Well, if I have an interest in Bob's house and I decide I want to rezone it, I can't just come in here and try and
You could-
rezone his
You could
property.
apply, and he could say no.
I think it
I
has to
just
be a
think,
contractual
I think the
agreement.
property owner's name ought to be on the application, that's all I'm saying.
You have any problems joining into the application?
I have no objections to that.
Yes.
My name's Kirk Redker. Rettger.
And you are one of the owners of the property?
I am the managing member, correct? The sole owner of the property.
Okay. I just noticed going through here, is there the application says that, where is it? There, it's on the second page. In essence, very small print. And do we have agent authorization forms? Did you? Agent authorization forms for all those. Not important right now, but just want to make sure that the record's clear on that.
The attorney for Dollar Bank. The Lutheran Church secretary is right here, and Mr. Redker is right here.
Okay.
Very nice. Members of the Planning Commission, do you have any questions for the applicant's representative?
I don't believe I do, no. It's pretty straightforward.
Nothing.
Any member of the audience having any questions or comments on this matter? If so, please use the microphone. Apparently not.
No. Somebody want to say something? Okay.
I just for the record, property owners were notified, adjacent property owners within 300 feet of the area, and letters sent to those individuals, and the property was posted. On the screen is, or was on the screen, is an outline of the existing zoning down there. Mike, could you put that up, please? There you go. The yellowish area is the MU zoning. The blue, darker blue is R2, lighter blue is R1. You can see the designation there, sheets, that's the lighter blue is B, business, the sheets. And then the pink area is public lands, that's the school district property there.
Okay.
Is there any other comments or questions for the public hearing portion of this?
I just have one question. This appears to be handling all of the properties on the east side of School Road. And on the west side, where the Lutheran Church is and those adjacent properties, they're going to remain mixed use?
Yes.
Nobody's requested that they be changed, so.
We had a previous discussion in the meeting in considering the zoning change when the original request was put in by choice as to whether it would be worth evaluating extending the B district to the west side of School Road there. I thought it was Planning Commission's feeling at that point that we would deal with the applications as presented. So no further discussion was had as to whether to convert those to B or not.
Okay.
A couple of those properties are actually residential.
One is the church, the next is an office building. The third is, or those last three properties are all owned by Ferry Land Company. I believe there's a resident in one of those.
All right. They just look like houses to me.
I think there is a distinction too, because the properties that have filed the application all have frontage on
Both
22. Those properties to the west of School Road have no frontage on 22, only old 22.
Very true. The church property, Charlie, if memory serves me correctly, the piece out in front, which is basically the parking lot, at one time that was
Gas station.
a gas station, and it was, I think, leased to PNC,
It was.
but PNC acquired it.
It did.
They did, okay. All right.
And the use there, I mean, there's not going to be any change as far as I know with the building, and that's going to remain a parking lot. Isn't it? Yeah, that's going to that building will stay the same. There'll be some interior changes to it, but the building will stay the same, and that will remain a parking lot.
No further questions or comments. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Okay.
I'd like to add on, not on this topic, but I don't have the public portion to close down. I'd like to talk after he's done.
Regarding this application, sir?
I'd like to talk about zoning, though. I knew zoning was on the agenda, that's why I showed up tonight.
Okay, all right. So we have a
So moved.
move to close the public
Second.
hearing, second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you for your... Thank you. Okay. Gentlemen, you have a question?
Yes. My name is Jim Boyd. I have property on 3129 Lillian Avenue.
No, this isn't part of.
Jim Boyd,
this
it's
is not
a separate.
This is not, the public hearing is
closed.
closed.
We're done. Thank you. Yep.
I just knew on the agenda tonight was zoning. I have property that's mixed use on the Lillian Avenue. I'd like it to be considered, or South Murrysville to be considered for rezoning. We've talked about that at the Comprehensive Plan Commission, and I know council was supposed to address this, and it hasn't been done yet. But if we're going to talk about rezoning, I'd like South Murrysville to be considered, or at least my property. Properties around me are commercial. Choice is one of them now, and I have pictures if you'd like to see. The four corners of my building are Howard Hanna, Spagnol's, industrial building, Hart's Funeral Home, and Choice Real Estate. Across the street, I have Century 21 now. In front of me is the Donna Lynn Strip Mall, which I do think that's a mixed use as well. So we have some commercial in that area and some mixed use in that area, and I would just like to be considered, if we're going to look at rezoning, I'd like South Murrysville to be considered as well. Very little impact on the community, anything on South Murrysville. It goes with our slow, steady commercial growth. But anything on the south side of 22 really doesn't have a big impact on the residents of Murrysville. Thank you.
Have
If
you
you'd like
ever-
to see my pictures, I
Have you
can
ever
present
filed
them.
an application?
I have not. I just wanted to throw this out there because tonight they were talking about it. I will take that step next if you'll hear me, but I just wanted it to be in the
Well,
minutes.
it's sort of just like this applicant. I think you, Charlie, you came in originally with just the choice and and it grew into the church, the bank, so this applicant came in with one application, and then after discussion,
Found there were others.
found the others that it made a lot of sense to us. And yours may make sense too. I'm not saying that.
Well, I think it's something that Murrysville has to address, and we've looked at this for the past 15 years, and the ball hasn't continued to roll. So I'd just like to get the ball rolling again. If we're going to look at other areas, I'd like South Murrysville to be considered.
Just to clarify, this particular case that we heard tonight, there was a catalyst for that. There was a Choice moved out, and in a car wash, a new business wanted to move in, which couldn't have happened with a lapse in time unless the zoning took place.
I am not looking to do anything with my property, but have it to have it. I'm not looking to sell or anything. I'm just there's a lot of properties around me that are zoned differently than what I'm zoned. Eventually, this is going to have to be dealt with.
But I think from your comments, it sounds like you feel that Murrysville should do something, and I think what Bob's pointing out is that if you think something should be done, you have to take the action to follow.
I said I was okay with that.
Okay, then,
Yeah.
And I would,
Talk to your neighbors.
I would ask you to talk to your neighbors and probably just ask for an advisory, which is not cheaper than than filing
A
for
lot cheaper than a
rezoning.
zoning application.
Yeah, just ask for an advisory, bring them in, and we'll talk about it some night.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Okay, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, we pledged allegiance.
Go approve the minutes.
Yeah, we need to do a roll call, Patty.
Yeah.
Should have done that first.
Pass backwards.
Yeah. I'm just reading my paper here.
Mr. Lemke,
Here.
Ms. Hoy,
Here.
Mr. Midal,
Here.
Mr. Patrick,
here,
Mr. Olszewski, Mr. Kearns,
Here.
Mr. Levecki.
Okay. We have minutes from October the 12th.
Mr. Chairman, I've read the minutes and they're fine as they're presented. I make a motion that we
Yeah.
accept them.
second.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We've heard from the public, I assume,
Yep.
and we have no old business. We just have this new business. So what's the Planning Commission's thoughts on this request for rezoning these, is it 6 properties now?
Yeah.
6 properties, 4 property owners.
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
Looks pretty straightforward. I mean,
Yeah,
Agreed.
I agree. I think it makes sense. Keeps it consistent with everything around there.
Everyone pretty much in agreement with that?
Agreed. Yes.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll make it short and sweet. Anyone care to make a motion that we make a recommendation to council that these 6 properties be rezoned from MU to
B.
business?
Before we make that motion, do we have enough if I abstain?
We have enough.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we forward on to council with our approval to rezone the 6 properties that we discussed from MU to B business.
Is there a second?
second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay, that's our recommendation. This is a question while I have 2 fine legal minds here. Ryan.
Nervous for a minute.
Okay, so Ryan asked a question about abstaining. So in the case where, let's say, how many, 2, 4, 6 or 6 of us here, what would happen if 3 members abstained?
Else.
Does it fail? And let's assume that the other 3 vote in favor of it.
You need 4. Do you need 4 for a quorum, or do you need 4 for?
We need 4 for a quorum.
I understand that, but if it's 3 and 3, does that really negate the vote?
Well, that's a different question you're asking. It's not 3 and 3 if 3 abstain.
3
It'd be
abstained.
3-0 if 3.
They didn't vote.
If you have-
Okay.
You have 3 to vote. I believe you need 4. You need a majority of the board.
I think if that happened, though, you could have the applicant make a motion to reschedule, right?
And then when you,
Best
I've just
thing would
heard,
be not
I've
to
just
have
heard
an action.
contradictory
That's true.
opinions
We're
on
are we 6? Yeah, we're 6.
Yeah, well, there's 7 normally because.
7. Yeah.
Right.
So if it was that situation,
oh, it could be 3 and 4.
3 and 3, you could postpone and hope that the 7th member comes to the next meeting.
Okay, all right. Is there any other business before us this evening?
Yes, sir.
What's in the pipeline, Mr. Morrison?
We have a building permit application to redo the old golf garage with,
Oh,
The old
and they
golf
were
building,
advised that
golf
we would
Yeah.
issue the building permit to do the exterior improvements, but before occupancy, they'd have to come in for site plan approval.
Change in use.
We have that. We have Cherry Farms coming back,
okay, that should be interesting.
probably after the first of the year, according to emails that I've received recently. We have a warehouse office flex space, no application yet, but discussions for up in the industrial park behind the store hall.
Okay.
And I think that's it for now.
Okay. All right, anything else for the good of the cause this evening? No, I don't entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for your attendance.
Okay.